Welcome to the show, guys. Today we're talking about Super Bowl prediction, breaking down this 2022 Super Bowl. Is it going to be the Cincinnati Bengals? Is it going to be the Los Angeles Rams? Who is going to win this game? And maybe we're talking a little bit about the fixes in. We're going to break it down in regards to my theory on who's going to win based on not only the talent, the defense versus the offense, who's got the better talent, who's got the better players, but also who's got the best storyline. I'm diving into all variables here to break down who's going to win. Now, in my prior experience, I actually ended up calling this many Super Bowls, including the one where Peyton Manning was awarded his last Super Bowl before he won. And yes, he was throwing beach balls that game, and Cam Newton was the top dog that year, and Peyton Manning ended up winning. Or how about Ray Lewis getting awarded his Super Bowl before he retired? Is that a coincidence? Or how about that great storyline about the Harbaugh Bowl? Always good storylines, and I always think the great storyline prevails and moves forward, because at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. They want to make money. They are a business. So part of it is, who is the best storyline? What is the best storyline? What's going to bring in more tickets next year, right? Who's going to buy more seats? Who's going to watch more? So we're breaking it down here for you, full breakdown. Now, I do got to plug, guys, mybookie.ag. This is where I'm going to go to enhance that game watching experience. They will double your first deposit, guys, okay? Now, I know you guys, bet on the coin flip or whatever it is. I know you guys are right into this, right? So you guys are in on the coin flip. You're in on whatever team it is for the Super Bowl. A lot of people are. And the place I do it is mybookie.ag. Go there right now. They'll double your first deposit up to $1,000. There is a link here below. Use promo code FFC. If you're in the car, mybookie.ag, promo code FFC. Guys, tons of perks there, and it will enhance your game watching experience. That's the site I use. So go mybookie.ag. Go create an account. FFC. All right, let's talk about this prediction here. Let's break it down. Now, how did these guys get here? So let's break it down here. Going back to January 22nd, we had the divisional games, NFC divisional games. Bengals beat the Titans 19-16. Titans kept it relatively close. It wasn't a slaughter or anything like that. So Bengals had to beat the Titans. Now, Titans are a decent team. Obviously, I'm not really sold on Tannehill being that solution there long-term for the Titans. He's a guy that'll get you to the playoffs, but he won't get you deep into the playoffs, okay? So they beat the Titans. Okay, not an amazing feat, but pretty solid, and they beat them 19-16. Now, the Rams, they ended up beating the Buccaneers. That's good, 30-27. So in the NFC divisional game, they ended up beating the Tom Brady, and Tom Brady retired. So the Rams pushed Tom Brady into retirement. So that's a good, amazing feat there, okay? And you move on here. Now the Bengals beat the Chiefs 27-24. That was an overtime finish. And you had the Rams beat the 49ers 20-17. So all of these games pretty much, even the divisional games, the playoffs games, all of these were pretty much within a touchdown. Almost all of the games, except for the one with the Chiefs and Bills. Actually, that was finished in overtime because, again, if you guys remember, Pat Mahomes came in, won the coin flip, and, Josh Allen didn't get a chance to come back and redeem himself. By the way, they should be changing those playoff rules because that's ridiculous, by the way. Because, again, Josh Allen lost. He never got a chance to get back and redeem himself, come down the field, right? The Chiefs won the coin toss, went downfield, got a touchdown, won the game. So let's talk about this, okay? So when you're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Rams, like I said, the Bengals beat the Chiefs, the Rams beat the 49ers to get them into this position. Now, going into this game, let's break down everything. Los Angeles Rams are a 4-point favorite, okay? So they are the 4-point favorite. Now, let's talk storyline. Let's talk a little bit conspiracy here when we're talking football, okay? What is the best storyline? Who would the NFL want to win? Now, it is a weird coincidence that SoFi Stadium was opened on, September, was it, 2020? It opened recently, and now they've built up the Rams team to be there, right? To be in the Super Bowl, which is being held in California as well. That's a weird coincidence if you ask me. But either way, they've acquired Odell. They brought in Von Miller. They got Aaron Donald. They've got a good team, right? They brought in Matt Stafford. And Stafford isn't a phenomenal player, but he's a guy that can get it done. And they brought in a guy that can get it done, okay? They brought a guy that can get it done. Now, the Bengals was a crappy team for years, right? Now they've kind of made some good moves. They brought in Joe Burrow, a healthy Joe Burrow now, and he's brought the team to where they are now. And they've acquired Jamar Chase, phenomenal wide receiver. T. Higgins getting it done last game, right? So they've got good receivers. Their O-line is suspect, and it's going to be suspect versus the pass rush, okay? So the Rams' rush is going to be intense. The pressure is going to be on Burrow pretty much the entire game. So it's up to Joe Burrow to release the ball in time, get the ball down the field, make some plays. And he has made some plays on his feet. He looked really, really impressive, the entire season, including these playoffs. He's looked really, really good. He looks nimble. He looks agile. Looks good. He's got poise. He's got agility. He's got nimbleness. He's got elusiveness. He's looked good all around. So I'm looking at this matchup, and typically during a matchup, I'm pretty much sold. Like, this team's going to win. This team's not going to win, right? I'm pretty sold. This one I'm struggling with. Let me tell you why. And we can debate in the comments. So make sure you guys in the comments below, let me know if you're in the podcast, if you're listening in the car, jump on over to my YouTube channel. Love you to jump on there and dive in. Now, I did do a show with Brian Toohey. Okay, check it out. He's the guy that wrote the book, The Fix Is In. It's got over 100,000 organic views, guys. Check it out. I've linked it here below so you can watch about how games are fixed and all that stuff. So is this game fixed? I think they got to where they got. I don't know whether it's actually fixed or not, but I think the narrative will play out however they want it, right? So if the Rams win, okay, first of all, let's talk about the actual skill set, okay? Who gets the advantage? Quarterback goes to Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to give it to Joe Burrow. Receivers are pretty much tied. Now, you can give the slight edge to Cooper Kupp, who's an MVP candidate this year. Phenomenal player. He's done great. But the Bengals, I wouldn't sleep on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They're good. I'd say, I'm almost close to say that these wide receivers are equal. Jamar Chase is an absolute stud. I think he's the future face at wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's great. I really do. And Odell, he's on the decline. He did nothing for 5 years, and now we've seen a resurgence here. So I'm going to give the slight edge, though, to the Rams, simply because Cooper Kupp had this historical year. So quarterback, I'm going to give it to the Bengals. Now we're talking about wide receivers. I'm going to have to give that to the Rams, okay? Running back, I'm not a big fan of Joe Mixon. And, the Rams, Cam Akers has been hurt a lot. Like, is he going to do well in this playoff game, in the Super Bowl? I don't know. Like, he always gets hurt. So we haven't seen enough of Cam Akers to prove that he is a top-tier running back. Although he could be. He is. I think he is. He just got to stay healthy. Now, if we saw a year under the belt here, I'd probably give the edge to the Rams here. But I'm going to give the slight edge here for the running game with the Cincinnati Bengals because Joe Mixon, I think, being in the league and what he's done this year, is a superior running back. So running back, I'm going to give a slight edge to the Cincinnati Bengals. Defense, I got to give it to the Rams. They're going to keep the pressure on the Bengals. How do you beat Aaron Donald? You're just not. Like, he's just one of the best players in the game. Okay, so defense, Rams. Overall offense, I think we're almost equal here. So now we're talking storyline. Okay, so broke it down. Now we're talking storyline. And prior to this video, I haven't even really made a decision on who I'm picking is going to win this, okay? But I will tell you this. I think the storyline takes into effect here. So we're talking Cincinnati Bengals. We're talking Joe Burrow, young, fresh, building him up. Like, I wouldn't even imagine the Bengals would have made it this far, but they did. Somehow they did. So you're looking at Joe Burrow. Is he the new face of the NFL? Now, I understand Pat Mahomes is the face of the NFL. Like, I'm not going to deny that. He's arguably the best player in the NFL. But that's not enough. With all of these old players aging, Aaron Rodgers is almost out. He was pretty much the face of the NFL, right? A guy that draws in tickets, draws in audience, draws in big, revenue, right? Russell Wilson, another face of the NFL. He was a 2012 rookie. We're 10 years into his career. We need new faces. Okay, Russell Wilson's great, but he had a significant decline this season. Is he going to continue to be the face? I think decline's coming. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, they're all kind of falling off the cliff. We got young faces like Lamar Jackson. He's good. He's kind of fallen off the past year as well. I don't know if he's outstanding, but we got guys like Josh Allen who could be outstanding. I don't know how personable he is. I don't think he's as personable as like a Pat Mahomes maybe, right? He doesn't bring in as much drama maybe with his, Pat Mahomes has got his brother and his wife or fiance or whatever she's at the sideline, bringing in a lot of controversy. So we've got Pat Mahomes, and then we got this young Joe Burrow, and now Tom Brady's retiring. So we've got this whole storyline that, and I don't know, there's this whole storyline that, Brady won 20 years ago this time, right? He won the Super Bowl, and I think he beat the Rams. He actually beat the St. Louis Rams back then. And now, in comes young Joe Burrow 20 years later, the year that Brady retires, and comes in and he beats the Rams again. So, again, do we really want Burrow to win now, or is there more time down the road? But are the Bengals a good enough team to come back in the next couple of years? I don't think so. The Rams are, but then I also think on the other end of the scope, the Rams, Odell Beckham Jr. He's been a guy that's been super marketable. The NFL has loved, and they built the narrative and the story around him. He's kind of on the decline. He is on the decline as well. He's got the opportunity. They brought him in on this like all-star team. Cooper Kupp having a phenomenal season, his career year, and he's 29 years old. And then you've got Aaron Donald, one of the best players. Is he going to get an MVP? Is he going to win his Super Bowl? Matt Stafford, I don't think it's about Stafford. I don't think they care about Stafford. They wouldn't have kept him in Detroit for so long. So it comes down to this. Really, I mean, is it the Rams, a team that has been built up so heavily in SoFi Stadium, pretty much home crowd, big market? The Rams market is a lot bigger. Is that what they want to promote? Is this going to be a better sales down the road? Is it going to be a better storyline in the offseason? Or is it going to be the young Joe Burrow kind of dethroning Tom Brady and maybe showing him and enticing people and showing people like, hey, maybe he is the next Tom Brady. He is the future. He came in, he beat the Rams, right? And this is the question that's going to happen, because if you look at it, the Rams beat Brady and Joe Burrow beat the Rams. That's a pretty good story, and that's a pretty good way to put someone else on the throne with Pat Mahomes, because Pat Mahomes again is great, but we need more faces because Pat Mahomes, all he needs is he's one injury away, and the NFL is going to lose ratings. So again, I think it's very important to build up Burrow. I think that's the story here. It's the underdog. And again, I think the Rams could get here again with the same team they have this year, next year. I think they still have that potential. But the Bengals, I don't know. I guess they can get here again, but I think the Rams have a better chance. So this is a really big, literal coin toss. Okay? And if you guys want to enhance that coin toss experience, mybookie.ag, use promo code FFC. So the verdict here, and this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. Because again, I maybe an hour before I'll make a split decision on my bookie and go either way. But the way that it sits now, I'd be crazy to go against the Rams. But you know me, I'm crazy. I'm going to lean. Again, I'm literally on the fence here. And again, in the comments below, let me know. But I think it's a building Burrow campaign. Call me crazy. I think it's a building Burrow campaign. Because again, which position is the most in the spotlight, right? When you look at a team, it's typically the quarterback. If you remember going back to Cam Newton and Peyton Manning, I don't really remember the defensive players. I do because I know the game a little bit, but it's like, do we really remember? Demaryius Thomas, because he passed away recently, he was in people's memories and he was a great player and all that. But we always remember kind of the quarterbacks or kind of that narrative, right? Do I really care about Matt Stafford moving forward? No, I don't. I mean, he's on the twilight sunset part of his years and of his career. But Joe Burrow has made it this far. He didn't come this far to only come this far. I'm going to go with the building Burrow narrative. This is what it's all about. I predict, as of right now, and I could be wrong, obviously, but the Cincinnati Bengals win this game. Again, make sure you guys check out the Fixes In video below. I explain it. We talk a little bit more about game fixing and stuff like that. But again, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the building Burrow narrative. Now, the Rams could absolutely cry. I don't think they're going to cry. I think it's going to be a close game. But they actually, terrorize Joe Burrow. But I think the Bengals come in with a game plan, get the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands quick enough and move the ball down efficiently down the field. And they've got good receivers with Higgins and Chase. I think they get it done. And I told you, if the edge goes to the Rams at wide receiver, it's not that big of an edge. I'm almost tempted to give it to Jamar Chase and Higgins here. And I bet you down the road, we're looking 1 or 2 years even, you'll be like, oh my God, Higgins and Chase, obviously they're younger, way better. How could you even consider Cooper Kupp, who's aging, and Odell, who's on a decline anyway, ahead of these guys? So I'm going to go with building Burrow and the Bengals winning this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be exciting because a lot of these Super Bowls, not a lot of them, but a bunch of them end up being blowouts or whatever, and it's like kind of one-sided throughout the years. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to come down to the wire. But I think this is about building Burrow. I think the offseason is going to feed the narrative that Brady's done. A fresh face has emerged to rival Pat Mahomes or whatever it is, okay? Now, again, there is other quarterbacks, but their teams suck. Like, I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's really good. Eagles, it's a decent market. It's not a huge market. And again, I'm surprised Cincinnati made it this far. And it seemed with that type of market, they're okay, but they're not as big as like Houday, whatever. They're good, but they're not as big market as other teams, right? So again, Bengals made it this far. They didn't come this far. They come this far. Joe Burrow dethroning Tom Brady, potentially another face to the NFL. That's what I'm going with. In the comments, guys, love to hear your feedback. And again, I broke it down here for you guys the best I could. We could dive in a little bit more, talk about yards after catch for wide receivers, yards per carry per running back. But any given Sunday, guys, everything changes, everything varies. You don't want to overanalyze. You don't want paralysis over analysis here, okay, guys? So it's very important that you just step back, look at the story, look at the situation, and find out which one makes more sense to you. And I get it. Donald and Beckham and all these guys, but I still think the Rams could come back next year. I don't know. Bengals, I don't know. Again, this is what makes it so exciting, the uncertainty. All right, guys? So building Burrow is my story. I could change my mind an hour before. I'll let you know on my Insta at Fantasy Football Counselor. Check out the Fixes In video below. Subscribe, thumbs up, guys. I appreciate you. That's my prediction. Building Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals win the Super Bowl. And, from a spread point of view, I'd take the Bengals because it just pays more. All right, guys, I'm out. Subscribe.